What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and I don't like making these videos, but I also got to keep it real with you guys, and that's the whole point of this channel. Whenever I talked about my SIG P365 issues, everyone gets on me. They call me crazy, say it's the best handgun in the world, blah, 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 and it is what it is, right? But when I talk about my Glock that had a malfunction, or I put out a video on my Glock that jammed, I don't hear anything. It's really, really odd. But PSA is one of those companies that I really like, right? One, they have a ton of variety. Pistols for concealed carry, home defense, rifles, they literally have it all. On top of that, they offer great bundles that are affordable, right? A lot of your average firearms that you purchase come with, 2 magazines on average. You can get a bundle with like 10 PMags and, just a range bag, and it's like $350. It's absolutely crazy. And I love that because the Second Amendment is one of the only rights where there are barriers to entry, right? In certain states, you have to pay for the concealed carry class. You have to pay for background checks when you purchase a firearm. You get taxed extra for your firearm, tax extra on ammo. You have to pay more for shipping because it has to be 2-day shipping, and so on, right? So it gets very expensive to be a gun owner, and that drives, for instance, a single parent, right? Working one job, struggling, just doing what they can. They need to defend themselves, right? They want something. So companies like this offer that, availability to these people that's affordable, yet they're getting a decent product. But unfortunately, I can't come here today and say that the PSA is the Dagger is a decent product, right? If you go on Reddit forums, if you go on YouTube, it's nonstop. The issues are just nonstop. Now, PSA, like I said, makes great rifles. They have some great stuff that they offer that run well, don't break, don't tend to have issues. Where I see it mainly is with the PSA daggers and the micro daggers. That's where I see the issues. But I love mine. Honestly, the ergonomics fit my hand like a glove. I mean, I get 2.5 fingers on this thing, and it just feels really, really nice in my hand. As you can see, I took this handgun serious. I have an optic. I have the whole thing set up and ready to go exactly how I want it. On top of awesome serrations, a couple windows, lightning cuts. I like this handgun. Now, the trigger isn't the greatest. Obviously, this firearm's cleared. And I'm going to show you my PSA Dagger with the issues in a second. We're going to get to it. Trigger's a little mushy, whatever, spongy, but it's easy to shoot. It's very, very manageable. As you can see, I also put a light that's a little more than half the price of the Dagger on it. So you know I took this serious. On top of that, if you see right here, this is one of the safes that I use to store around my house, right? I have a couple safes throughout the whole entire house if I ever need to access a larger handgun for any reason, right? And this is one of them, one of my favorite stop boxes, right? You push a certain code that the average kid hand can't do, or the average small hand, or whatever the case may be, and that allows you to open it. Plus, it's a random code that's hard to figure out. If you can see the outline, that's where it sits. So you know I like the Dagger. This is something I legit actually have around my house and was trusting it, right? So that's why I'm making this video. Let's grab my other Dagger for a second, right? The other Dagger was the stainless steel, the cheapest one. I paid like $280 for it, right? Here it is. Well, we had to take this thing down. This Dagger right here has a lower round count, but has ran flawlessly. Not a single issue, and I actually love shooting this. This Dagger actually had a lot of rounds through it as well. It was actually doing good. It was doing solid. And then about a week and a half ago, I want to say, took it to the range. I think I brought the SD 2.0, SD9 2.0 from Smith & Wesson to compare it. The GeForce Exodus, this, and they're all compact size handguns that are similar in size to Glock 19s. And I was shooting them to compare them, right? And I'm shooting, and all of a sudden, light primer strike. At least that's what I thought, right? So I look at the round, I'm like, that's really odd. There's no markings. Maybe it's just a fluke, something weird happened. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I've seen this before. My Beretta Pico, I've seen this with other handguns and other stuff, right? So I reload the round, same round, try again. I'm like, all right, there's no primer spotting. There's nothing going off. Something has to be wrong. So, being a Glock clone, being as easy as possible to take down, one of the greatest things about Glock, I took it down. And what did we find? Exactly an issue that a lot of people are having. Now check this out. Do you notice anything missing? Look at this. Look at that break. Look how wild that is. And if you guys are wondering what ammo I was using, I think it was either Federal or MagTech that day. I'm not 100% sure, but it's just your typical medium level, decent range ammo, right? And you really look at this and you realize it like sheared off, but not in like a good way. Like look at how there's a little piece left on there, and then it just completely came off. Now, I've had this with off-brand strikers and P80s, that whole sort of thing, right? And I actually have a rival arm striker that is skeletonized and made to be lighter yet stronger. So, and it's an affordable striker. So I'm going to be trying that in this. But how does this happen? And I'm going to tell you how it happens, right? When you have a handgun, you know, the one that broke was $280. When you're making a handgun that cheap, people buy them. When you have the name Palmetto Armory, people love your rifles. You're getting tons of promotion online, free marketing from all these people, especially me. And you're just selling loads and loads. Like for months and months, you could not get a micro dagger. They'd pop up and be sold out in a couple minutes. It was absolutely wild. So what does that mean? That means their demand is so ridiculously high. And I've seen a couple other videos touching on this topic with other people having issues. They didn't have a broken striker, even though I have seen plenty of broken striker videos with the dagger. Now, what they actually had was the machining. The machining was really off. Now, I'm not going to lie, this dagger was machined really well. I went through the whole internals, the whole inside. I didn't see any little snag pieces. I didn't see any overhang, any leftovers, any markings, any straight lines from machining. Everything looked really good on this one. Everything is even, except for the gaps are a little uneven. Not a big deal. But with my stainless steel one, the gaps are really uneven. And on top of that, I'm trying not to aim at the camera. When you look at the symmetry on the front of your handgun, there is none. The slide is like pushed over one side, leaving a larger gap right here and a smaller gap, basically no gap right there. It's almost like the slide is misaligned, or something is just a little bit off. Like I said, I didn't have any problems with it. I shot a ton of rounds through my other dagger. Not a single problem. You go look at my old reviews. I honestly love these handguns. So what is happening? When people order that many cheap handguns, first of all, a cheap budget firearm, they have to cut corners somewhere. Whether it's the finish, whether it's the materials, whether it's your barrel material, and that's what they do. Their parts are cheaper than Glock parts, right? So what I would do in this situation, I would get a Glock OEM internal kit and throw it in your upper and lower. But at that point, you might as well just buy a Glock 19. Like, seriously, save up the money, buy a Glock 19, and you will never have a broken striker in your life. It would be beyond rare. Glock just makes the most quality internals, and the ease of putting them in and installing them and stuff like that is just unreal. It's perfect. Glock, that's why I love Glock. I don't care if they innovate. I don't care if they change. This doesn't happen. Right? Their machining is on point. Their finish is on point. If you really look at and take a deep dive into your PSA dagger, like I said, I like the dagger. I don't want to hear people saying, oh, you're just hating on it, blah, blah. I like the dagger. I have two of them sitting in front of you. You know what I mean? It's more of a disappointment than anything. But what I'm realizing is their machining is going so fast, it's getting worn out too quick. They aren't changing stuff out properly. It's getting too hot. Things are not running the way they should be. And I'm not saying every dagger. I know someone with a dagger, it's got like 6,000 flawless rounds through it, not a single part breakage either. So it's absolutely unreal. But in my case, this dagger's been flawless. And this happened about a week and a half ago. Now, I wish I was getting on a video, but I don't always record when I'm shooting. But if you know Spin Firearms, I test my handguns. Go look at one of my last shorts I put up. We shot all that ammo in one day in about 6 hours, 5-6 hours. It was like 4,000 rounds. I test my handguns to the extreme, and you would expect something like this to happen at maybe 9,000 rounds, 7,000 rounds, 12,000 rounds, right? Not a little over 1,000 rounds. You would not expect that, but it is a budget firearm at the end of the day. But my major thing is they're having problems. They're having issues. This should not happen. And the way it broke just makes me think like it's not quality. To leave a little piece on there, it should have just came clean off. Every time I've had a broken striker, it comes clean off or it's even. This just broke in an odd way. So I'm wondering if it hit at an angle or something was out of spec. It could be that slide sitting at that weird angle. I don't know. And where it hit on the round just, broke it. But what I think happened is it was the round before I let that round go, broke it, and then my next one, obviously, no marks. But I did not find the casing for the round that possibly broke this. Didn't look for it even, didn't even think about it. But the way this broke is just ridiculous. Guys, quality control is going down the drain with everything in life. It doesn't matter what it is. And sorry, I did wash my hands. This is just from work, primer, glue, and I bent my nail back a week ago, so that's why it looks ridiculous. But overall, I love the dagger. I have nothing against anything PSA does, but at the same time, I just like making people aware of potential problems. You should not have a broken striker at a little over 1,000 rounds. You just should not. It just shouldn't be like that. And on top of that, that's the kind of malfunctions that I talk about. A failure to feed, a failure to extract, a failure to eject happens. That's firearms. If you shoot thousands and thousands of rounds, you realize that is firearms. Doesn't matter. SIGs, Glocks, CZs, Smith & Wessons. Yeah, I have a bunch of handguns that have been 100% flawless with 10K plus rounds, right? I have that. But at the same time, I know that most handguns out there, models, brands, they have a malfunction at some point. But all I also realize is this isn't the kind of malfunction. Malfunctions like this, part breakages, is what gets you unalived. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just a reminder, if you do have a dagger or something like that and this makes you a little skeptical, just buy a Glock Striker. It's like 40 bucks. You can use the same springs, you can use the same cups, or even throw some maritime cups in there if you want. I mean, just use all this stuff. Just get a bare striker, and hopefully that'll allow it to last a much longer time. But like I said, I don't carry this. This isn't my home defense, but it is a handgun that I keep stored around the house just in case. So imagine me ever having to use that, God forbid, and this is what happens. Or imagine being at the range, and your last shot it breaks. You go home like, okay, this thing's been running. It's over 1,000 rounds, running hollow points, which it has. It's ran all the hollow points I carry. It's ran target ammo, every brand. No failures to feed, no failures to eject, no double feeds, but a broken striker. Imagine going to the range, saying, oh, this was an awesome time. My handgun runs, and you got a broken striker now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.